Welcome to Takeover TV. You're with the footy wrap, and it's going to be an absolute ripper tonight. I'm joined by two absolute corkers. First, the great man, the walking encyclopedia of sport, Mark Fine. Welcome to the footy wrap, Finey.
Hello, Zanners. How are you, mate? I often defer to you when it comes to knowledge, but happy to form a firm alliance once again with the great man, Troy Zanter.
Great to have you on board, Finey, and we're joined tonight by a regular on the footy wrap, the incredible Hulk, the great man himself, Renee Kink. Welcome to the footy wrap, Renee.
Thanks, Anders. Lovely to be here. Lovely to be with you too, Mark. Terrific. Looking forward to a little bit of a chat about what's going on. It's been very interesting.
Now, Renee, I believe there's something that you'd need to get off your chest. What is it?
Yeah, look, with Finey, I don't know much about his football career, but apparently you played for the South Melbourne Districts. Is that right, mate, in that league?
No, I didn't play footy. I played cricket down at South Melbourne.
Cricket, but I've got a couple of witnesses that they reckon you ran into the wall at the side there of the oval. Is that correct or not?
We played against South Melbourne Districts, and we played right up against the wall there of the Tech.
Yeah.
But they were the dirtiest football team I have ever played against. This is in junior football.
Yeah.
The boundary was about a foot away from that wall, and they used to have a thing called the crunch or the crush, and they got me.
There's a couple of gentlemen that I know, Paul Warren and Louis Blitzes. Reckon you ran into that wall?
No, I reckon I got put into that wall by those.
Put into the wall. Well, there you go. But would they be good witnesses?
Yeah, they'd be able to testify, I reckon.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, I just wanted to check on your football career. I don't think it went a lot of ways, mate.
No. Look, I prefer cricket. Actually, look, I played a bit of footy, but I prefer cricket to football.
Well, there you go. And you love your St Kilda.
Yeah, they're sort of loving me back a bit now. I've got one for you, Renee.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the expression, physician, heal thyself?
No, I haven't.
It sort of says, there's another expression. It goes, a cobbler's son always walks around barefoot.
Yes, I'm aware of that one. So therefore?
What's going on with your hair? You are a hairdresser to the stars.
Well, Mark, I got plenty of
normally you got the perfect coif, but I can see that lockdown 4 is having an effect.
Well, my floor manager mentioned it to me a little while ago, so I went in and threw a bit of water on it. And it's all I know. It's very important that it's very dark, so it's not a colour. And at 63, I'm travelling all right with the hair.
You're travelling beautifully, Renee. Beautifully. But I've got to say that hair, it's Bruce Andrew, the great Bruce Andrew will be happy with that. Looks like there's a plentiful degree of Brule cream in there.
Yeah. No, it's called a bit of gel.
Now, you've had a half crack at Finey there about his football career, and then we moved on to his cricket career. But Finey was a terrific cricketer, and Finey actually played with and against some great players, Finey, didn't you, during your cricketing career?
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to go overseas in a team captained by Julian Weiner, and that was great.
He played for Australia?
Yeah, he did. Look, I used to play, there was a thing that was very competitive called midweek cricket, and I don't know if you remember it, it was on a Wednesday. I played for the Cavaliers, who was Malvern Cricket Club, and we made the grand final against a very good team that was, I can't remember what they called, but they were basically made up of the Northcote Cricket Club and the media.
Brendan McArdle.
Correct. Now, Bushy opened the bowling at one end and Rodney Malcolm Hogg at the other end.
Ooh.
And I used to open the batting, and this was the grand final. And our captain was a nutcase we had a very famous player in our team, by the way.
Who was that?
Batted number 5, I should say infamous, not famous. Batted number 5, and he was a bloody good batsman, 4 or 5. His only problem was, and I swear this is true, if he wasn't batting, he was only looking at the form guide. Even when he fielded, he took the frigging form guide out with him. Bill Vlahos.
Bill Vlahos.
Bill Vlahos.
Yeah.
He had Jimmy, didn't he?
He killed Jimmy, allegedly. But that was that big betting sin. That was what were they called?
Oh, I remember him. He a lot of publicity at one stage, didn't he? Oof.
He made off with a lot of people's money at another stage.
Yeah, that was only a few years ago.
Yeah, he was a good cricketer. Played for Elsternwick in the sub-districts. Beautiful batsman. But, yeah, so we were opening the batting and my captain, Macca, was at the other end. He goes, look, Finey, I'll tell you something about Hogg. He doesn't take these games all that seriously as long as you just leave him alone. And for goodness sake, don't start hitting him around because then he'll go off the long run.
Yeah.
Second ball of the day, just pitched one right up in the block hole. I hit it straight past him. Imagine this, you hit a second ball of the grand final, your captain runs past him and goes, you dickhead. And he was right, because Rodney Malcolm went off the long run for the rest of the over. You know how that run started, crouching over?
Yeah.
I thought, this is trouble. And I survived him, but Bushy got me. Good bowler, Brendan McArdle.
Troy, how do you find people like Rodney Hogg and other cricketers at sportsmen's nights when they talk about cricket, in all forms, their own career and others? Do you find they go on and on and on and on about something that we're not terribly interested in?
I wouldn't say that, Renee. I'd actually go down the opposite route, because I was lucky enough to work on SEM with Finey for many years, and Hoggy was part of that family, and he was absolutely terrific. He was forthright. He said what he wanted to say. He told some great stories, and they were always interesting stories. And I was fascinated by stories from back then. The Australian cricket team, he played at test level. He come up against some of the greats in those West Indian and English teams. And stories like that absolutely fascinate me, as they do with you, Renee, when you look back on your career and some of the great stories that you've told over the journey, who you've played with, who you've played against, your coaches. I'm like a bit of a sponge. I like to absorb all that. So I understand some guys can go on a bit long, but then there are other guys that you're absolutely engrossed by what they're saying. And I've always enjoyed a sportsman's night, or when I've talked to Hoggy, I think he's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I've heard Hoggy many a time, and I just sometimes feel that, that he's talking about the cover drive and then, the long on and all this sort of stuff. I'm thinking, where's this going? And I mean, give me something that's going to hold me in the conversation.
Well, do you like stories about Jeffrey Boycott?
Well, there's obviously a million of them, so they would be interesting.
They were interesting. Do you know? Now I'm going to repeat something here, and I'm going to say that it was wrong. But he got banned from covering Test cricket here in Australia for a number of years. Do you know what he said that got him banned?
No, I don't.
Do you know, Troy?
No, I'm all ears, Finey.
All right, it's not nice what he said, so we understand that it's wrong. And he was talking at the MCG. He was talking about the test at the MCG, and he was talking about John Embury. And he said, in the session between lunch and tea, John Embury butted like an absolute spastic. And he got banned for 4 years.
He got banned for 4 years?
Yeah, they said, do not come back, mate. That is not acceptable. So I guess there's a lesson to be learned there, isn't there? And, Freddie, I think the guys up north were very funny. Freddie Truman was great. Freddie Truman once said this. Remember Chris Lewis?
Yeah, the fast bowler.
Yeah. He was always part of a good trivia question of mine, Chris Lewis, because, Chris Lewis was a name shared by 4 different sports people at one stage. Do you know who they were?
Well, obviously there was Chris Lewis from New Zealand, the tennis player.
Yep.
Chris Lewis from the Eagles.
Yep.
And
the fourth Chris Lewis is still going about in the sport that he was famous at back in the sort of 80s and 90s.
Oh, okay. Who's that?
Leading WA Rainsman, Chris Lewis.
Okay.
Driver of Village Kid.
Ah, wow. That's a great trivia question, finally.
Yeah. So he was talking about Chris Lewis, Freddie Truman. He goes, this afternoon, Chris Lewis finally proved to me he's a genuine all-rounder. He absolutely showed me he bats as terribly as he bloody bowls.
Now, that's funny.